As you're shopping for fabric today, you're going to see a lot of fabrics available in pre-cut sizes. Now, the beauty of having pre-cuts is that it puts together lots of different prints, but all of the same coordinating colours. So it takes away the hard work of you trying to decide which fabric is going to match which fabric. Now, I'm going to take you through briefly the sizes of those pre-cuts we have available for you, and to give you an idea of how you're going to use them. So we have fat quarters. You could be looking at fabric strips, or you could be looking at fabric squares. So let's start off with the fat quarters. The fabrics in these packs comes in either 5s or 6, each one of them measuring the same size. And as I said previously, every one of those colours is going to mix and match absolutely perfectly. The size of these is actually 1/4 of a metre. So if you imagine your roll of fabric, and instead of cutting 1/4 of a metre in a long thin strip off the bottom, you take that metre of fabric, cut it in half this way and cut it in half that way, and you end up with practically a square of fabric, as you see here. So these measure 22 inches by 18 inches, which is around about 53 by 45.5 centimetres. And as you can see, it doesn't matter what the style of the print is, the colours are going to just match beautifully. They're 100% cotton, and these are perfect for patchworkers and quilters alike, because you're going to be cutting into these, you'll be cutting out your patchwork shapes, joining them back together again, and you know again that everything is going to match. But think outside the box a little bit, because this isn't just about quilting and patchwork. If you were to make a cushion cover, this one particularly is going to take 2 fat quarters to make. So out of that pack of 5 or 6, you're still going to have a lot remaining. You could be making little boxes and bowls and bags. This little box, 2 fat quarters. This little drawstring bag, 3 fat quarters. You could be making bottle bags. You could be making matching placemats, or a Christmas theme for your dinner table this year. So those are your fat quarters. Lots of different styles available, so it could be Christmas, it could be plain, it could be floral, whatever kind of design you like. I'm sure you're going to find a pack of fat quarters. Then let's move on to, let's take a look at fabric squares. These measure 5 inches on each side, which is around about 12.5 by 12.5 centimetres. And again, look how they coordinate. So you know that every single pack is going to have fabrics that mix and match together. You'll receive either 20 or 24 pieces in general in one pack. And these are really simple. You can just join them all together and just make a big patchwork quilt or a cushion cover or a bag, just using those squares. You could add sashing in between the squares to make it that little bit bigger. You can cut into the squares, and these are particularly useful if you're going to be doing English paper piecing, because although you're cutting into the smaller pieces of fabric and wrapping them around your paper, and this is a hand-sewn project for you, it just means that you can buy lots of fabric, all of the same type of designs, without having to buy lots of meterage. A lot of time when you go to buy fabric, you're going to have to buy them in, you know, a 1/4 metre length at a time. Maybe you don't want that much, so the squares are perfect for you in that respect. And again, if you're using smaller patchwork pieces, or if you're English paper piecing, you know that all of those colours are going to match beautifully with each other. The final pre-cut for you to take a look at are the strips. Now these measure 2.5 inches in width by 42 inches in length on average, and you could receive 20 or 24 strips in each one of those packs. So you've got the same kind of deal. You've got lots of different, in this case 10 different prints, 2 of each kind, so there's 20 in this particular pack, but all of the colours mix and match together beautifully. And these again are really simple. If all you want to do is to join together lots of strips of them and make something like this bolster cushion, that is a very, very simple project. They're the perfect kind of size if you're going to do something like a log cabin quilt like this one, which is a quilt as you go, because you don't need to cut the width of the fabric. It's already pre-cut into those 2.5 inch strips, just ready for you to go. You could be using smaller projects and actually cutting into the strips if you want tiny amounts of fabric, but you want lots of them to match, again without buying lots of meterage. That's going to be perfect for you. You could be using these strips for different kind of effects, like the rainbow cushion that you see behind me. You can cut diagonally into the strips to create 60-degree diamonds, which I've used on the wall hanging behind me here. So again, I hope I'm giving you lots of ideas onto how you're going to use these pre-cuts. There's lots of inspiration on the website as well. Enjoy your fabric shopping.